Hi there, welcome back to Practical Piano. I'm doing another practice tutorial. Not really a practice tutorial, but a practice session. My dog may howl because I'm at home. We have a dog, she loves piano and she howls to it. And you may hear some background noise. And I'm not super worried about that, and I'm going to use it as a teaching moment. Practice in your home environment and in busy environments, because we don't all have perfect opportunities for performance where everything is quiet. And even if you do, there are people coughing and making noises in the audience. There's babies crying. So don't look for the perfect silent opportunity to practice, but learn to focus in your busy environment, even if that's just for small lengths of time. Okay, so those are my notes about the quality of the video, and I'm about to start practicing. I've got my piano turned a little down so it doesn't disturb my roommates, and I'm going to start with probably Rondo alla Turca again because I love it. And if I get interrupted, I'll just end the practice session at that, because it is evening and I respect my roommates. Okay. Okay, now that particular section, which I just played, in this version, this is called, oh yes, okay, it's by Bellwin Classic Library. And in this version, this is measures 24 to 21. And when I first practiced that section, it was very, very difficult on my hands. It took several days for them to stop feeling sore. And when you're playing these big chords, when you're stretching wide, your hands are going to feel sore for several days until you get used to playing it. Because piano, you are exercising your hands to execute techniques. And so the more that you execute the techniques, the more you exercise your hands, the more you exercise your hands, the stronger they get. So when you encounter parts of your music that are very difficult on your hands like this, be patient, stop when you're sore, come back later. And after a couple of weeks, you will be conditioned so that those stretches and these pressures in your hands are not painful anymore. They're easy because you've developed some muscle, or you've stretched the muscle enough that you're not sore anymore. Now, the other problem that I've been having with this section, I'll show you what it looks like. So it's from this measure to this measure, from there to there. It's a lot of octaves. And let me walk you through what happens here. What I had to do to learn this, to be able to play it kind of fluently like I'm playing it now, is actually memorize it. I very rarely memorize my music until, I believe that memory is like one of the last things that you do, because you really have to know what you're playing, or you'll have memorized it wrongly. So I always make sure that I know what I'm playing, and I end up memorizing things several months into practice. And then if I don't continue to practice, I lose the memory, which is very normal. Your brain only retains information that is relevant. So if you stop practicing a song, it becomes irrelevant and your brain starts to discard that information. Although I believe it's never fully lost, because the neural pathways, the trees that you developed in your brain when you were practicing that song still exist. They're just not active. So it will take a little bit extra practice to get them back to being active after you've discarded a song. So anyways, no wonder songs escape your memory after periods of time of not playing them. So if you've experienced that, don't worry about it. Perfectly normal. It's how your brain works. Anyways, so I had difficulty with this section. I'll read you out what these octaves are. So an octave is, my dog needs to go outside. One moment. She'll be happy outside for a bit while I practice. So we'll continue. Whoops. Editor me is going to have fun with that one. There we go. Okay. So octaves are when you're playing the same note one octave apart. So here's A. There's your next A. That's one octave. Okay. So this goes A, B, C sharp, A, B, C sharp. I blanked out there for a second. B, A, G sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, G sharp, E, A, B, C sharp, A, B, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, B, G sharp, E, A. I had to memorize that sequence, and I can do it by itself pretty well. Whoops. And I'll tell you what I think about. This is in A major. So I'm starting on A. A, B, C sharp is the first three notes of the A major scale. And then I go back down. I would go back down to the F sharp in the A major scale. Then I go up to B. And now I'm going to do an E major chord. So this is B. Your E major triad is G sharp, E, And then you repeat the sequence with a little difference at the end. A, B, C sharp, A, B, C sharp, B, da, da, da. Then up to B. And here we do the chord early. We do B, G sharp, E, and back to A. I had to memorize that, and I memorized it as the first part of the scale, and going back down, and then up to B, because I'm doing the E major chord. In your left hand, you're supposed to play, this is A major triad and octave. So A, C sharp, E, A. And these are, I would call that a grace note. It's kind of a glissando. It's written like a grace note. And I don't know what the proper term is for 3 of these. I'm sure there is a proper term. My dog is eating something she shouldn't. One moment. Whatever it was, it has disappeared into her stomach. Anyways, left hand is playing A, C sharp, E, A, which is a triad and octave. And then we go down to D. I remember the D. I'll explain this in a minute. Whoops. Ba. Now this one threw me for a loop. So D major is the one that comes before the ugly one I just played. D major, D, F sharp, A, D. Then I move up. What I'm playing here is a diminished version of what I just played. I'm pretty sure. I really have no idea how to describe this. Actually, yeah, it's a diminished something. I'm not great at theory, so we're just going to call it diminished. It's a D sharp, F sharp, A, D sharp. And it's very strange. And then we go up to E. E, G sharp, B, E. And this is the dominant chord. Or if you have A major scale, you go A, B, C sharp, D, E. E is the 5th note of the scale. So I'll play that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E is your 5th note. And to be confusing, music theorists also call the 5th note dominant. So your dominant note is E. And so I remember to go to this E triad and octave because it's the dominant of A. And then I'm going back up to A. D, E, A. D is your 4 chord. E is your 5 chord. A is back to your tonic. Tonic means 1. Your 4 chord is the E, G sharp, B, E. If I played the A major scale, the 4 chord, the E, G sharp, B, E is the 5th chord, or the dominant chord. The D, F sharp, A, D, the D chord, is the 4 chord. If I play A major, A, B, C, D. So if I start this chord on D, that's my 4. E is my 5th. When I start a chord on E, that's my 5th. And then we go back to A, which is our 1. A, if I play A major scale, A, number 1. Okay, so I remember this. To memorize it, I think A, B, C sharp is the middle of my A major chord, or my tonic chord, my 1 chord. That's 3 names for the same thing. I find theory very complex and confusing because there's 3 names for one thing. So anyways, here's my A major chord. A, B, C sharp. I'm just playing a scale here. Now here at F sharp, is the middle note of my D major scale, which was my 4 chord. And now I'm playing the diminished chord with the A, and this is going to create dissonance, which sounds very bad. But then we make it sound pretty by moving to the 5 chord, which is the E. And up in my right hand, I'm playing the G sharp, which is the middle of the E chord. A, D, so I've memorized that based on the A major scale, the theory of it. If you don't find that section helpful, honestly, skip past it. If theory is confusing, don't waste your time on it. You only need theory to really help you with exams. It will help you when you're composing if you understand it. But I think the way that I just explained it is not simple enough for beginner piano theory people to follow. It may be, and awesome if it makes sense. You're probably only going to understand it if you're a little more advanced in theory. But if you do understand it, I'm very happy that you do. Leave some feedback in the comments about that. I didn't mean for this to be a theory lesson, but in passing, did that theory make sense or no? And it probably didn't because of there's no visual aids. And I went a little faster than I normally would if I was going to actually tackle this topic. But yeah, give me some feedback. Let's see how it landed. Anyways, I'm going to play this section one more time, and then I'm going to keep going, because this is a practice session, not a lesson session. We'll see. The teacher in me is just like, oh, I can show you what this means. Diminished. Whoops. Oh, the diminished goes with the A. And now I'm doing the E chord. A chord. E chord. Yes. That noise always surprises me. It doesn't seem to fit. Nice. cool thing about really good music is that it can surprise you with sounds you don't expect, but that sounds so good. And so then when you listen to the finished piece, you're like, oh, I didn't expect that, but it was beautiful. Mozart does that a lot. I love it. Okay. Oh, I'm too high. Yes. Now, when I'm saying yes to myself, it's because I played this. And I was like, is that right? And then I looked and I read each note. The notes are correct. When you're not sure, read each note, make sure everything is correct. Because when you're not sure, that certainty, you're going to develop a hesitation in that section because you're uncertain. You want your brain to be certain. And so every time you're not sure, you check each thing and you make sure that it's right. And then confirm it to yourself verbally. Yes, that's right. I want to reward my brain for taking that time to find those notes. I want to reward myself for taking the time to confirm it and be certain in myself, because I know that's going to help me practice. Positive is always better than negative. So if you make a mistake, you can go, don't put yourself down. Maybe go, no, or that's not right. Let's try again. Keep it relatively positive, even when you're telling yourself no. And then when you succeed, tell yourself yes. And if you're excited, yes, I got it. You want to be able to express those things to yourself in healthy ways. So a lot of people, they make mistakes, they go, oh, I'm so bad at this. That's not going to help you. If you are bad at this, that doesn't help you into the future. If you're getting better at this, that helps you into the future. If you go, that was wrong, we'll try again, that helps you into the future. Okay, we go again. Too high. See there, I'm just identifying the problem. I'm not putting myself down. Oh, too high, Tia. No, I'm not putting myself down. I'm identifying the problem, fixing it, moving on. That's what you want. This is something I often do when I play, is I speak the notes. Do, 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 ba, do, da, do. It helps me for some reason play accurately and like predict the sound that's coming next. I'm trying to do it little in this recording. I don't want to be distracting. Whoops. G. And E natural. This one always gets me because back here we had an E sharp, which is actually F. So here I go to play F and it's like, nope, it's E natural. And I'm gonna also write down that this is G. This is E natural. Now, I've been playing for 20 years. Look at that. I write in the letters sometimes. I often write in the fingering. I don't consider this cheating. I consider it, my brain is making the same mistake whenever I play this section. what I can do to help myself not make the mistake, because every time that I play it, I am developing a neural pathway for this song, and I want that pathway developed correctly. I want to be able to play each note in the right sequence. If I'm continually making the same mistake, I am patterning this neural sequence for Rondo alla Turca in my brain to have wrong notes in it. I don't want that, because it's going to be really hard to fix that pattern when I've played this 100,000 times. So I write in the notes that I'm getting wrong, so that as I come to it, I see what the note is supposed to be. And then hopefully I play it right. Now I'm going to pause the video. I'm not practicing in this pause. There's something going on in the house. Okay, I'm resuming the video. It's a good thing we had the pause. I had to make sure my dogs were okay. It's a good thing we had to pause, because a train went by and then a few loud cars went by, so that would have been annoying in the background. Okay, anyways, I'm going to play this section a little bit more, and then I'm going to move on to the next section, because I'm actually quite pleased with how I'm doing on this section today. Your practice is always changing. You'll notice you're really good at some things some days and really bad at the same thing the next day. You're always in flux when you practice. So remember that your practice is an ongoing journey. It's not about the outcome of how good is it today, how good is it tomorrow, how good is it this week versus last week versus next week. It's an ongoing journey. And you're going, because you're developing a neural pathway for this music, your brain is going to be looking at it from all kinds of different aspects, and your proficiency will seem to change. But really what's happening is your subconscious is working out what it needs to incorporate into your neural pathway. Oops. Why do I have a one finger there? That is not helpful, because that's a black key, and I keep my ones off of black keys. It's not very helpful. That's a G sharp, and we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2. Hopefully, we'll see. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Okay, we'll do this again. No, it's not. What I do here is a 1, but I put the 1 on the wrong note. I do 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we have planes going on in the background. Hopefully it's not super distracting. Okay, again. Perfect fingering. I liked that. That's the weird sounds. Let's go over just this. And again. Yes. close enough. I'm happy with that for today. I like this part. Oh. See, that sounds wrong. What did I do here? Nope, that's right. Oh, it's the left hand I'm missing, C sharp. And again, da, 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 da. This is another part that was very difficult on my hands. It was actually more difficult because of this movement, and later I have these big chords to roll, and I have this. And I'm gonna, do I have battery power? Let me check. Whoops. Oh, I think I made it darker. There we go. Now what I want... Okay, apparently checking the battery makes the video pause. But I am back. I'm just gonna make sure this is playing actually. Oh yes, yes, yes. Very good. Okay. Anyways, I have time. I'll show you why these parts were difficult, but first I want to practice a bit. Whoops. Whoops. E. A. This is the exact same keys as before with that part that I had to memorize, but the right hand is separated like this, which made it difficult to practice these rolls because I wanted to go instead of have the right hand and left hand land at the same time and just have this roll before the land. Okay, we'll go again. And now for the second ending. So some repeats. You play through one time, and then the second time you play through, you skip this one time ending and you go to the second time ending. Okay, I'll play this one more time, but go to the second time ending. E. And second time ending. I love the sound of this. Now, with this chord, I roll from all the way from the bottom to the top. I don't go at the same time. And I think generally when you have two glissandos, you roll from the bottom to the top. Or if you have this grace note and then the glissando in the right hand after, then you're going to also roll from the bottom to the top. This here is the glissando. Okay. Whoops, I threw in an extra roll. Wonderful. Okay. Now I'm going to go. I think that's enough practice for me tonight. I'm quite tired, but I'll show you why this was difficult for my hand to get used to. So this is a grace note, and I'm supposed to go very quickly from that onto this 3-note chord. And I have to use my 5 for the grace note and my 4 for the top of the chord. And anytime you move from your 5 to the 4, you're going to have a little bit of dexterity issues because it's very hard to isolate these two. So my goal is to go from this note and then play all 3 of these notes at the exact same time. Not like, or, and even now when I'm playing this quickly, you can hear I'm going to my top note before my bottom 2 notes. Because it's a very tricky angle. And this one is even trickier. Because of the shape of the chord, I go 5, 4, 2, 1. I could go 5, 4, 3, 1. But I actually find it's harder to make that movement. So I have to continually practice this in my right hand so that over time I will be able to play all 3 of these bottom notes precisely and develop the speed necessary for this piece. So for now I have to go slow and be cautious of hitting Developing your technique in piano is like developing technique when you're doing a workout. If you start off really fast, you're going to ruin your form. But if you start off only focusing on your form and you go as slow as you have to go to get your form, one, you'll avoid injury when you're working out, and hopefully we avoid injury on the piano too. But 2, if you get the form right at the beginning, you'll be able to go faster later than you were able to go with bad form. And with music, you're going to get a much cleaner, better sound if you can nail the specifics early. The more detail you work in, the slower you go to work in the more detail, it's going to help you out later, and it's going to be feeling really awesome. Thank you for joining me for this practice session. I hope you've been able to learn from it, and I hope that seeing someone practice and make what you might consider beginner errors. You saw I started my left hand up here when it should have been down here. Stuff like that you can call a beginner error, or you can just call it an error, because humans make mistakes. We're all human. And no matter how long I'm practicing, I'm probably going to be making some kinds of mistakes. The people you see that you think they're not making mistakes in their music, they are. And they know what the mistakes are. But they know how to move beyond the mistake very quickly, seamlessly, so that you hardly even notice it. Okay, signing off.